I'm finally getting my YouTube channel going, like starting recording next week.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, well, we actually are.
We actually don't.
I had to shuffle around what Dre was doing, so we've got like our first recording next Friday. I think I would do them every Friday.
Nice.
He'll edit them through.
What's the video going to be? Just the podcast?
Well, no, I tried to work out what's the thing to stand out. So I just last night I did a cull of all the YouTube channels that I follow and see what I really like. So there's two types of channels that I think do well. There's the personality, which is someone like yourselves that may cover a particular topic or whatever it may be, and then there's the personality, but sort of remixing a particular topic that they're really good at. So for us, we want to be able to drive business people to our agency business, right? So I'm thinking.
Wait, hold on, wait. So sorry, what did you mean by the second thing? People remixing the topic that they. So what does that mean? A
good example would be Graham Stephan show. He's sort of an example of someone who's pioneered this new model where they're basically doing current affairs commentary, but with a particular lens. Like, let's say personal finance, marketing, business, whatever it may be. Now they may cover topics that are evergreen, that like how to manage a budget or something like that for Graham Stephan, but he doesn't do it as often as, say, covering what someone will spend their stimulus check on. So I feel like we're going to go down that route more, because I feel like that's where sort of YouTube is going for having a niche. I don't think, for me, it makes sense to be just a personality. I want to be able to actually drive business from that channel as well as teach people things. Because we already do that with Uncommon. We already sort of teach people and drive a personality of a show. So, what
do you mean by personality? Like, I'm curious.
Well, people watch you on YouTube for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I 100% agree with you.
I don't watch Graham Stephan's show just for him. I watch it for him specifically, for his take on how he's going to spend his stimulus check or how he saves money buying a Tesla, because I'm interested in that topic, and he's a knowledgeable person in that topic. But you guys could touch many different topics, and your audience wouldn't worry, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the common ground with our audience is photography, obviously. So that's what draws people in.
That's the initial drawing.
Yeah, exactly. But we can also make videos about other things which our normal photography audience would spill across to, but it won't get as much traction because it's not photography. Yeah. It's not that,
See, I think those days of YouTube are a lot harder, because YouTube has blown up so massively. The idea of just being a personality and drawing people in. Like, think about when you first started YouTube and how much smaller it was to now. You've got to really hone in on what your niche is. Whereas with you guys, you've been able to build and craft what that is through your audience, and they've grown with you over the way. So I'm just trying to look at it like a bit more strategically in comparison to what we did with the podcast. With the podcast, we just launched it and sort of just found our way, basically.
Well, it depends, bro. It depends. Like, what's your motivation? Like, do you want people to like your stuff for one specific thing, or do you want to talk about what you're passionate about and then have those people fall into place? Because the thing is, what you put out is what you're going to attract in the world. So if we put out, like, I don't know, shit about makeup, and apparently, it's a terrible example, but like,
that'd be funny.
If for whatever reason we were good at makeup or whatever, we were like passionate about talking about it, like right now, and no one knew about that, and we put that on our channels, people would be like, what the fuck? Like, but the thing is, people that like makeup might be like, oh, that's kind of cool. Then you draw in those people, but then you get rid of the people that you already have, unless if they are into makeup as well. So you gotta, that's why it's like
a chicken and egg.
Yeah, it's so, what does that mean?
Chicken and egg. Which came first? Was it creating content for yourself or creating content for an audience? Like,
For yourself, always.
yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, I think what you guys are saying is what you put out will automatically draw in those. The algorithm will make sure that you find those type of people. So
Exactly right.
That's the thing. But it's not even. It's more like what you put out there, people are going to see, and people are going to get attached to that. So, an extreme example with what I'm doing with YouTube is before. Like I've done like all my research and stuff. Like the more you do something, the better you get at it, obviously. And throughout my YouTube journey, I've become more and more comfortable with being myself. But there's been like a real like paradigm shift recently where I've been a lot more crazy than usual because I'm expressing that part of myself that I haven't done previously. And because I'm expressing that part of myself, a lot of people don't like that because it's not what they're used to. It's not what I've put out in my past videos. So that's why it's so freaking important, no matter what, you have to be yourself, because if you're not, then people are going to love you for someone you're not. Oh, sorry. People are going to love. That was a great timing in my conversation. People are going to love you. It's much better for people to hate you for who you are than for people to love you for someone that you're not.
Yeah. So my issue is that you can tell by my podcast I'm a generalist. I like a lot of different topics, and so I guess I'm trying to say is I've just been trying to find the topic that I like the most, but also that I can actually add some value. I don't want to become. When I first started the podcast, I was like I started it because I loved Tim Ferriss. But there are so many people who want to be like Tim Ferriss. You got to find your own thing in your own way, and that's, I guess, what I'm trying to hone in on. What's the unique thing that I do? And I think that, I like self-improvement or what was that?
Who was that? Which one of us? Oh, Limon.
So there's self-improvement, there's finance, there's marketing and sort of persuasion. What else is there? There's health, I guess, psychology.
You know what I would do, Jordan, if I were you?
What?
I would write down like the top 15 things you like. They don't even have to be in order about what you like. I would just write down the top 15 things that you really kind of enjoy, or something that you might even like. Could even be like a type of food or whatever. I'd write down all 15 things, like just 15 things randomly, and then see which two of those things can work together. Because I think a YouTube channel can be really successful if you mix like two or three things together. Like, for example, my channel is mixed between cars and photography. It can be one or the other, and more or less I'm
the remix
in the future. I think like Liam's going to be bringing in more food and incorporating that with photography. So he gets to cook a meal and then he gets to photograph it as well. Hayden really likes to talk about motivating people and stuff like that, but he also incorporates that into our photo shoots and stuff. So I think there's like, if you were to start a YouTube channel, it doesn't have to be one niche. It can still be you, but I think that if you were mixing like a couple of things together that created your style, like that's how a style is sort of formed when it's like kind of like music. Like there's quite a few different artists like Queen and Prince, and some even the newer artists like Lil Peep and that XXXTentacion guy or whatever. Like they were kind of prodigies because they were mixing like two different types or three different types of genres together that then stood out from everybody else because they're just doing their own thing.
I think you're right. I think that's what the thing I was trying to identify with that Graham Stephan guy, that he did really well. And so we, Dre and I went through and we made like a spreadsheet of all the topics. Well, I originally did it with Lauren, and then Dre's added some in that he thinks I've covered in the past in the podcast. And so if we look at them, there's 40 potential videos I've got here, topics, and the bulk being 20 of them is all about marketing and media and persuasion, I guess you could call it. Then there's maybe 8 about self-improvement and maybe 9 about business generally. So it's sort of obvious where my interests are going to push the channel, and that's good because I want there to... This is what I want to do with my future around the agency work and marketing and media. So I think that if I can hone in on that better, that'd be good.